Okay, we are live. Sorry, y'all, for the minor delay. I'm going live from my phone. So here we are, BeatStars Live, powered by the Music Entrepreneurs Club. Slim Wave is in the building today, so I'm going to give people a chance to come in. Slim, if you want to wow the people with your guitar while they're coming in, you can do whatever you want to do.
I am Slim Wave. I make beats. I am Slim Wave. I make beats.
Wow, I can't hear anything.
Oh, you can't hear me?
Can y'all hear me?
I can hear you fine.
Sheesh, this is very unfortunate.
No. You can't hear me at all?
Hello, hello, can y'all hear me? Okay, well, I can't hear y'all. What's up, everybody? This is the MEC Live. Well, this is BeatStars Live, powered by the Music Entrepreneur Club. Today, I'm Aaron Knight, and I'm with Slim Wave. I'm a huge fan of this man, so the fact that he's on with us today, I'm geeking out because I've been a fan for probably like 2.5 years. He is a maven. He's not just a producer, he's a singer, songwriter, artist, all around. I listen to his music all the time. He dropped an EP recently that was amazing. There's a song on there called Coffee. Well, there's all these hues of brown on there. It's a whole thing. Y'all got to check this man out. Anyways, he's incredible. He's about to play some music for y'all while I figure out why I can't hear myself or y'all. And then we're going to get started, and y'all are going to get to ask some questions, all that stuff. So, Slim, go ahead, take it away. I'm going to try to figure this out myself.
So you can't hear me?
Yeah, you can play some music or do whatever. I'm just going to try to figure out why I can't hear right now.
We're going to play music until Aaron can hear us. I'm not sure why she can't hear us, but I'm not even sure what I'm looking at here. But we're going to pretend like I do know. Ha ha. This is really cool. I've never done one of these before, so to be doing one specifically for BeatStars is really fire. Because I've used BeatStars as well. Wasn't as successful, however. I've used BeatStars, and BeatStars is fire. Let's see what's going on here. Where would I even look to see people? Okay. Maybe Aaron, can you hear me now?
Okay.
Oh, but you're here 3 times. 2 times.
Hold on, y'all.
Did that work for you?
I mean, I can hear you now, but it's an issue.
Can you hear us? Aaron, can you hear us? Can you hear us? Can you hear us? Aaron, can you hear us?
Okay, is there a major delay right now?
Yeah. Aaron, can you hear us? Aaron, can you hear us? This is like a Western type beat. Aaron, can you gotta have the old man voice too. Aaron, can you hear us?
Y'all see how talented this man is?
Aaron, can you hear us? Oh, can you hear us? Can you hear us? It wasn't the right chord. There it is. I once was a cowboy, and I had beats in my boots. Oh, I once One or
Okay,
two.
Slim, while we're trying to figure this out, because Marcus is gonna help me. I'm trying not to have a delay right now.
There's no
But
delay.
can
Actually,
really?
no delay.
You can't hear that?
Oh yeah, it's very subtle, but
It's because it's on my phone and I literally can't mute my phone. Okay, I'm trying to figure that out because the admin is on my phone. But while we're waiting, can you kind of give people a little bit of your resume, who you work for, who you produce for? I know I was saying Summer Walker because she has the smash hit album that's out right now. But if you could tell people, yeah, like you work for a ton of legends. So just give a little bit of background, and then some of the projects that you have coming out that you haven't announced yet, some of the people that people would be surprised that you've worked with. If you could just kind of give that rundown.
so obviously I've worked with Summer Walker. That's my most recent, recent work. I've worked with quite a few bit of people, but also because I'm a musician first. So I've played for like a slew of people. I've like programmed shows for a slew of people. Um, like when I say program shows, I mean like live arrangements and stuff. So you have like Lizzo, you have Black, you have Summer Walker, you have man, there's so many people. Jeez, I can't. I'm not gonna hold you. I can't remember everybody, but and I'm not thinking like of what I've recently done. Rory, Raury. He's a artist based out of Atlanta, but he kind of took a little hiatus for a little minute. It's kind of where I kind of got my stumping grounds. I've done shows with Kevin Ross, done shows, I've done production for like some newer artists coming out, specifically Diddy, and the Diddy stuff kind of that's like a that's like a whole umbrella of things because like under him I've worked with, you know what I mean, because of him I've worked with like so many different artists from Bryson Tiller to
You just casually were just like, oh yeah, I worked with Diddy. Okay, great.
oh yeah, nah, it was a blessing for sure. I got there by way of London on the Track, which is also how I got the Summer Walker stuff because he kind of brought me in. Was like, yo man, I want you to help me out, produce this album. I was like, for sure. But that came about because I was working um, working with a label called LVRN, which is where I started working with Rory. So from there, after working with Rory, doing like his live show stuff, I then moved to Black. Some of you may say Six Black, but it's actually just Black. So from working with him, then that's when LVRN was like, "Yo, man, would you like to um, musically direct Summer's uh, her live show?" And I was like, "Yeah, of course." So I did that her for her last tour, which was called the first and last tour or something like that. So from there, that's how I met London, and then they kind of linked us up, and we started working on a lot of stuff. And then he was like, "Yo, man, I want you to come work with me on this Diddy project. Are you free tomorrow?" I was like, yeah." You know what I mean? So they got flights immediately, and we went out there and put our best foot forward. And then from there, I kind of kept getting the call back, which was amazing. So yeah, so under like I said, under the Diddy, it's been like a bunch of like different, really cool placements that may or may not be happening in the future. We never know until it's out. So yeah, that's just to name a few. I can't really think of everybody. I don't have like a list in front of me or something like that. I don't know.
Okay, I think I got the issue worked out. Do y'all hear a delay? Do
I
you
feel
hear a
like I
delay?
hear your room, but I don't really hear the delay. Yeah, it's fine.
Okay, all right. Um, I'm just trying. Okay, I still
It's
hear
not
it.
that
Okay, how about now? Oh my gosh. All right, we're just gonna rock with this. If y'all hate this, oh, I think I got it. Okay, there we go. The delay is gone now. Okay, thank you, Michael. All right, great. There's no delay. Okay, bet. Thanks, Bree. All right, so we're gonna get into this. Thank you guys for your patience. I'm the most technologically challenged millennial you will ever meet. I'm terrible at technology, so um, yeah, so I'm again super stoked that you're here. You just named some of your resume. But something that I try to be really, really intentional about when I do my interviews is letting people know somewhat of the process, how you got there. I think for me, watching you in Atlanta, you've been just so incredibly consistent with Band of Brothers. I've seen you guys live a couple of times.
Yeah.
Um, that's actually how I got hip to you. You know, DeBaron, DJ
Mm.
412
Yep.
was my roommate, and he
Yeah.
was like, "Yo, you got to go see my man Slim. He's sick." Da, da, da. And I come
That's
from,
fire.
I'm a manager, but my background is in rock music. Really, I grew up in church. My parents are pastors, and then my background, I worked in rock music.
PK. Wow, I didn't know that. That's fire.
Yeah. And then from there, I moved into hip hop and R&B. So he knew that you would be like right up my alley. And I remember this is like shortly before COVID. I think it was Cat's Cafe. Y'all play
Hmm.
that?
Yeah, but even
Blew
Kennedy
my
Charles.
mind. And that's the night that I was like, yo, whoever this dude is, I'm following. I've been a fan. I'm just gonna say I was a fan before people knew you were amazing. You've always
Thank
been
you.
amazing. But
Thank
if
you.
you could kind of tell some of the process, one, like you're a multi-instrumentalist, right? And that's something that I feel like you're just now showing off to people on the internet. And you have really funny videos that you show that off. They're genius. But I know like you used to edit, or I don't know, you may still all of your music videos, you'd play all the parts and then you'd edit them together. And then
Hmm.
you started doing the same thing for social. So tell me how you go from learning one instrument to then being a multi-instrumentalist to then producing for all of these people, writing for all these people, if you could kind of tell some of the process, because a lot of people are just like, oh, yeah, you just got to know one person and it's going to change your life. And that's not true. Like,
Oh, not
I
at
know
all.
you have the same situation as me. We're 1 degree of separation from anybody in the world that we want to talk to, but
Yeah.
that doesn't mean that that tomorrow we're going to have what we need from them
Yeah.
or we're going to get on, so to speak. So if you could kind of talk about the process, how you developed, and then how you started networking your way into these rooms and then staying consistent in the rooms.
So to kind of start off from my history, my dad was a jazz musician, and I grew up in church as well, which I feel like church is, it's evolved now, but church in the '90s, early 2000s, that was like the best, the best like producer development, artist development, musician development,
One 100%.
whatever you want to call it, because I feel like there was so many lessons we learned in church. There was so many genres we learned in church. You know what I mean? I guarantee you can find any musician that is, growing up in the '90s or the early 2000s that were playing in church that could play pretty much all genres, because we played all genres in church. But so my dad was a jazz musician. One day he was like doing some work for somebody because he was in the army, and the lady was like, "Hey, me and my husband just divorced. I'm trying to sell all his gear." So my dad got a Fender guitar, a bass guitar, a couple of amps, and a keyboard for like $25. So he felt bad, but he was like, "I'm not gonna look back. I'm just
What?
I'm gonna just take it." So he took it and brought it home, and he knew I would initially go to drums because he was a drummer. So that's what I did. But eventually, like once I got to like middle school, I started to become curious in other instruments because I was already kind of getting good at drums. So that was like second nature, and I just was curious. So in church, I started to play keys, which I was already a pretty decent drummer because I had started like studying different drummers or whatever, and then from there, um, I wanted to play bass because I was like, man, our bass player at the time, he was really fire, but it inspired me to want to play more, and then I also had who is my mentor now, thankfully. I was inspired by a producer named two producers, one named Claude Deuce, which is my mentor from Augusta, Georgia, which I'm where I'm from. And then the next guy that inspired me to take an even step further was a producer by the name of Bam, Brandon Hodge Alexander, or whatever you want to call him, but his Instagram is like 1986 or something like that. He's the producer of No Limits. He's done a slew of like really amazing production and stuff, but he was an inspiration to me to play bass. and produce. So from there, that's when I started to like pick up production. I say I started to pick up production when I got to Atlanta in 2008, but I wasn't really like consistent. It was just something cool to do. You know what I mean? I wasn't really like trying to be a producer. I came to Atlanta to be a professional bassist, but I wasn't getting a lot of work. But kind of, I'm just trying to tell this story really fast. I learned my horn
No,
instruments.
this is cool. This is dope. It's like putting it together. This is
Yeah,
cool.
I learned my horn instruments in middle school. I had a teacher named Miss Bronco, and she had me doing everything. Once she found out I was gifted in like music in general, she had me doing everything. I started off with trumpet, and I think one day our tuba player couldn't make it, and I told her, I was like, "Let me try it out," and she's like, "Yeah, go ahead." So I tried it out, and she's like, "Wait a minute." So then she moved me to like euphonium, which is baritone, which is what I played like during concert season and stuff. Um, which I did read music. She moved me there and then had me trying trombone and stuff, and that was in middle school. Yeah, no, yeah. So my first year of middle school, I was doing terrible, like terrible. So my dad, and she was at that school, it was Morgan Road Middle School in Augusta, Georgia. I was doing terrible. So he took me out of that school. I was sad because I had built such a really cool relationship with her. Like she had me doing James Brown at the pep rally. She had me doing Elvis, which was so weird because it's like these people looking at me like, who's this black kid doing Elvis? But it was fun, and she believed in me, and she thought she saw me as a star. She was like the first person to really push me as like a I don't even want to say a star, but like someone that could do multiple things. So and I left that school. I left Morgan Road, and my dad took me out of school and brought me to a different school, to a different side of town, different neighborhood. And long and behold, she ended up being the band teacher at that school.
See, that's God. That's
I
divine
was
right
like,
there. That's
oh,
amazing.
yo, when I tell you, I almost cried because I was like, man, she was the best music teacher I ever had in my life. She pushed me, she taught me new things, and she was just an amazing woman. And when she moved to my new school, I was like, what? So you already know, from sixth grade all the way to like eighth grade? Yeah, from sixth grade to eighth grade, she just pushed me as hard as she could to play horn instruments and sing and play or whatever it was that I wanted to do. She just pushed me. I was like her favorite. You know what I mean? So that's where I learned horn instruments. And then when I got to high school, I started to play keys and bass and stuff. And I moved to Atlanta in 2008 after I graduated, and I went to Atlanta Institute of Music to be a professional bass player. I came out to Atlanta to be a professional bass player. That's all I wanted to do in life. Like I wanted to travel the world and play bass for artists. I got here and realized that there were some really amazing bass players that were already on the scene that were like taking all the gigs. So I was like, dang. So I was like, well, I have the gift to play keys. And then I realized there weren't a lot of good keyboard players, which is kind of where I started to make my way. I used to do like sessions for people like playing bass and stuff still, but I used to make my way playing keys. Um, until I
Okay,
joined.
so I want to call attention to some things because this is like I like to grab it all back. So first and foremost, shout out to Dan Tana. I've never been tipped on the show. You know how people can give money. Shout out to you, Dan Tana. You're doing something right because he just tipped us with gratitude. So we're very
Thanks,
grateful.
Dan. How do you see
Um,
those? I can't see those. Oh
uh,
yeah, I see it. It's popped up right there.
Yep. Um, Also, shout out to the people are really tied in. They like what you're saying. So I want to draw attention to this. You said I really wanted to be a bass player. That's what I saw myself doing, but I realized there was a need for keys players. So I think that a lot of times what I run into is artists who are like, no, I'm good at this. This is what I want to do. I'm good at this. This is what I want to do. But you can really find your way when one, you can add services to what you're doing, or you can look at something. I've gotten so many jobs at things that I'm mediocre at, but
Hmm.
people needed them
Yeah.
versus what I actually wanted to do. And that got me in the room. And then that led to multiple things. things, you know? And so I think it's super key for people to pay attention to that, because now you do play bass for a ton of people on records. You play bass for Black, but you also play keys for him. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
you still do get to travel the world and play bass, but you had something else that you could offer, and you weren't trying to force yourself to fit in. You
Yeah.
said, like, with what you were doing, you're like, well, I'm going to meet a need, and from meeting that need, it's going to open more doors for me. So I just want you guys to pay attention to that, but keep going, Slim.
Um, yeah, so it wasn't a whole lot of people like, calling for bass gigs and stuff. So I saw a need for keys players, and I'm like, I can play, which is, to tie in more to what you said. My whole thing is like, slim wave, which is like the waveform, but also you can use it as like water. And I had somebody like bring something to my attention when it comes to like waves and waters. Like waves are, they never actually really like die. Waves, they just keep forming into different things, and you never know which wave is going to take you to which wave. So you kind of just got to move with where it's taking you. I feel like consistency is the key for sure, but you kind of also got to have discernment and read what's where you're going, because I'd say being a musician was my back door into being a producer. You know what I mean? And I feel like that some people it works for them where they're just like, yo, I'm gonna be a producer and I'm gonna go full force to that. You know what I mean? And that's a really dope way to go about it. But you kind of got to be aware, like in this industry, you have to be aware. Like that is the most important thing. Being aware of what's the sound for today. Being aware of where you actually are. You know what I mean? And back
That
then I knew,
self-awareness is major. A
man,
lot
it's
of
so
artists will step in and be like, yo, I'm the next big sound, or producers will be like, y'all just need to get on my wave,
and miss it.
versus being aware of what's going on, right?
Yeah, and they miss it because it's like one thing you are the star of your movie. However, you need people. You need people to help you star your movie. You know what I mean? So being that I needed people, I had to be of service to people. You know what I mean? It's like a give or take. It's like in order for them to trust me to do other things, I had to be like, yo, what do you need? Like, I'm a multi instrumentalist. Like, I can do this, I can do that. Or to take it a little step further, hey, I'm good as a intern. I can help you with this. I can help you with that. Or I'm a graphic designer. I can help you do graphics for your beats or something like that. To just get in the room, and once you get in the room, that's when. Because man, it's been so many like engineers that I've met that have been like fire producers. I'm like, yo, this is crazy. Like I didn't know you were a producer, and now we're working, and now they're working with millions of people. But it's just being aware and not thinking, especially in today, maybe in like the 2000s, early, late 90s, early 2000s, you can just be like, yo, I'm a producer and just pull up. But there's millions of producers now. So you kind of got to figure out a way to really get in the game. And my way of getting in the game was through content. I'm not even gonna hold you. Like I was posting these videos for years, like, and I wasn't as consistent with it, but I was posting them. I'll post them like talk box videos. I'll post them, and then I'll stop because I was like, I don't want to be labeled as a talk box guy. You know what I mean? Because I feel like I have more to offer, and talk box is just a weapon in my arsenal that I would love to use. You know what I mean? So somebody said, I love the Brown album. Appreciate you, Meezy. Um, so I use that as content, and people are like, yo, he's dope at this. So I'll do that for like maybe a solid, maybe 5 or 6 videos, and then I'll stop for a little bit. And then the next time around, I'm introducing a whole nother set of videos that, I'm good at, to where like, yo, what don't you do? Because I guarantee you, everybody in this room, everybody's watching, they're good. They're good at more than just production. You know what I mean? But I feel like we neglect those other gifts because we're so focused on one way to achieve success, and that's not it. They say billionaires and millionaires, the way they achieve wealth is by multiple streams of income. And I took that ideology and said, all right, I have multiple streams of creativity, I have multiple streams of things that I'm good at. Let's use all of those to tie it into one.
Okay, I love it. My nieces are talking to me in the chat, which is great. Hi, Mila and Sophia. I love y'all.
Hey, Neil and Sophia.
They really be rocking to your music because
For real.
412 plays it and I play it. So yeah. Um, That's important. Being of service. I think that people just don't understand. Like, we're in the business of people. If people don't like you could be the most talented person in the room and you're never going to get this shot. And I could say for myself, a lot of times I'm not the most talented, but I'm the most hungry and I'm the nicest. So people are like, "Hey, Aaron, come on in." And then I'm
Yeah.
gonna learn. I'm gonna learn to be the best because I'm fiercely competitive. But I think it's important, like you said, hey, I'm a multi-instrumentalist or I can make graphics or whatever. If you don't have, I think I think there's two things here. If you're not focused and you're doing too much, when people tell me, "Oh, I do everything," I used to say that to people, and then I realized how annoying it sounds.
Yeah.
Like, you don't want to tell people you do everything until
No,
you have
not always.
mastered everything.
Yeah.
But if you know what their need is, or you can fill a need, you say, "Hey, I noticed that you need this thing." And my favorite thing is when people, whether it's a man or an intern or a business partner, when somebody notices what I need and they bring that to me, that's life
Yeah.
changing. So if you're talking about service, like, observe the room. Slim observed that there were no other bases needed in Atlanta. Now he can do whatever he wants, but at the time he was like, this isn't the role that I need to fill. So self-awareness and then awareness of the situation that you're walking into and being a service provider is major, major key to super winning. I want everybody who's here and in the chat to be able to walk away and say, okay, that's a tangible step that I can take. I can walk into a new room and do X, Y, and Z. So once you got into producing, or not even producing beats for people, offering your services, what were the next steps? Were people saying yes right away because you were phenomenal? How did you get to consistent yeses to where this became really something that you were like, oh, I know that I'm not going to have to worry about paying my bills next month from it? Like, when did it, how did you get from I graduated from school to here?
Um, relationships. And I know we just said that, but that is the man. If I knew that back then, I would be a little more aggressive with, not even mending, but making sure I'm moving properly in relationships. I don't have like any bad relationships. Like, nobody in this world can say I did them bad or anything or have a terrible relationship with them. However, that wasn't what I wasn't thinking of, like, relationships. I wasn't thinking like people. I was just, my whole thought, which I think a lot of people think, is like, I'm gonna just become so talented. I'm gonna be so fired that people are just gonna come to me.
Yes.
And that was a huge mistake. And it wasn't until, like, I don't even want to, I would love to say like maybe 2017, 2018, where I was like, yeah, maybe this is not the approach because I'm really dope. I'm really talented, but there are people that are less talented. There are people that are less dope getting these amazing opportunities. And I'm like,
Yes.
what am I doing wrong? I feel like I'm a nice person or whatever, but it had nothing to do with my talent. It had everything to do with my relationships. You know what I mean? And we need people. You know what I mean? Like, in every aspect, you need people. I need people. I wouldn't be talking to these people if I didn't, talk to the people that I talk to in order to get to this place. Even just seeing you the other day in the
Yeah.
store, I was like, yo, that's so wild. I'm supposed to be doing an interview and like this is my first time meeting you, but then you also knew my girl.
Yeah.
And it was like a refreshing feeling. I was like, man, this is so cool. But we all need people to get to where we need to get. And of course, you have to be of a level of excellence or a level of like gift or talent, whatever you want to call it. That's just the, that's what gets you there. And I just had this conversation with one of my homies. He's a bass player. He's like, man, what could I do to make it? What could I do to get on? And I'm like, you have to set aside your pride of thinking that your gift is the thing. You know what I mean?
Right.
Your gift is literally only the vehicle to get you to what you're
Correct.
supposed to be doing. You know what I mean? And I feel like my gift is just like the vehicle of what I'm riding to get to something even more grand, which you never know what that could be. But I feel like a lot of people, they operate in their gift, they operate in their talent, thinking like, oh yeah, I'm this guy, or now I'm this girl, and this is what I do. I'm good at this. Opposed to, like, you miss a lot of lives you can change, you miss a lot of people you can inspire, you miss a lot of people that's gonna pour into you and put you on situations because you're that. You know what I mean? You're thinking like, yo, I'm this person, I'm that person, when it should be like, I'm really good at what I do. I want to build this relationship with this person because I may be trying to be a producer, but you may be the person that get me in the stock market and
Right.
make me become a trillionaire, all because I had a gift. Like I'm playing guitar in a pub, not thinking that there's gonna be a billionaire in there. Like, you know what? I want you to play guitar at my billionaire event. And but you have to have that relationship with that person. But if you're like, I'm playing guitar, and they're like, yo, you were really nice tonight, and you're like, yeah, thanks, and you just walk away. Now it's like you missed the opportunity to build with a billionaire, and
Yep.
now you missed the opportunity. So he says, yo, I want you to come play at my event, and you get there, and it's a bunch of millionaires, a bunch of billionaires, and you're playing, and somebody walks up to you like, yo, man, you just don't know, like, you changed my life with that beat. You changed my life with that guitar you're playing. Like, it reminded me when I was a kid. Like, how could I help you get into the industry of crypto? This is just a
Right.
really loose, a really loose scenario, but you just never know, man. You never know who you're talking to. I had no freaking idea that I would be meeting you, now, and you told me you used to come to like local. I mean, not a local one, but you used to come to Cats Cafes. Like, who would have known years down the line? But if I would have like at the moment been like, "Yo, who are you?"
Right.
This interview wouldn't have been this
Facts.
we wouldn't be here.
Real talk, because I would have been thrown at, and that's a really funny. I was gonna make that point. I would have been thrown off because that happens with me. I am a fan of music, and I'm a
Yeah.
fan, especially of Atlanta. So when I used to have more time, I used to go to all sorts of shows. I just wanted to see the Atlanta scene. And it's funny, even with me and Bree, we got connected via
Mhm.
a random Facebook group
Yeah.
back when she was at Georgia State,
Yeah.
and that's a relationship. We met up at on Edgewood at Mango's,
That's
right?
funny.
The first time we were random, we DM'd each other on Facebook. We met up at Mango's because we were like one of two managers who lived in the Atlanta area.
Yeah.
This is when she was managing Cam, out in
Yeah.
Nashville.
Yeah.
But literally the ebb and flow of our relationship has been she just keeps leveling up.
Hmm. Yeah.
I'm still shook that we're friends. And by the grace of God, I've been able to continue to level up. So it's like we just keep running into each other. Then we know the same people. Then we have a couple of
Yeah.
professional exchanges. Then you end up as friends because as you elevate, the community is so small, right?
Very small.
You
Everybody
know,
talks.
and everybody talks. So it's like even on the Summer Walker project, like do you know Taylor Hill?
Yeah, well, I don't know him personally, but we just kind of met, via social media. The man's amazing.
Yeah,
I love
so
his voice, man. He has a really dope voice.
incredible. So Taylor Hill did he was working at the label that a couple of my artists are signed to. He
Mhm.
did some records for us. So I know Taylor. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? It's like, and then he was like, "Oh yeah, I'm working on the summer project." Then I see you're on it, and you start looking like, "Oh, these are really great people. Like I really
mhm.
respect them." But then there's conversely, same thing. You have a bad experience with somebody. You
Yeah,
see somebody else affiliated with them, and you're like, I don't know about that person. So
yeah,
I agree with you. The relationships are so important because I would even say this. I'm now part of the MEC because I managed Scotty. Scotty was supposed to be on one of these lives. He
yeah,
missed the live. I told Dame I would do it. Dame interviewed me and then within a month was asking me to join the MEC to add some feminine energy and just a different perspective.
yeah,
And I just think about if there was different people that vouched for me along the way, right?
yeah.
And because of that, I'm in rooms that I would have never been able to bring myself into. And I
Facts.
know the same thing is for you, is that
Hmm.
you ended up in rooms, you said, like you ended up with London and then London took you to Diddy. And now you may or may not have some major placements, even bigger than Summer Walker coming into 2022. And I think a lot of times people, again, going back to the talent thing, everybody has talent and I believe that. Like most people just don't have everybody doesn't have the talent pulled out of them, but I think the way that God is that he just made us all talented, right?
Yeah.
Especially in Atlanta. I tell people all the time, I can throw a rock and hit 10 phenomenal rappers. I
No,
know
facts.
homeless people
Facts.
who can rap better than most people on the radio, right? So
Hmm.
it's not the talent. It's one, can I cognitively explain my talent, right? Can
Right.
somebody see that I have what I'm saying that I have, right?
Right.
Like, is there a way for people to see that? And then two, is there an opportunity for somebody to see my character that makes me seem, okay, this is somebody I want to work with versus
Yeah.
somebody I'm repelled by? And then two, can you under promise and over deliver?
Yeah.
Like That's one thing. You may be able to do a million things, but if you can't do the first thing right, I'm not even going to come to you for two, three, and four, much
Yeah.
less a million. Right. So I think taking the opportunity, being a good person, and then delivering accordingly.
Yeah, facts.
Um, all right, I'm gonna let you share if there's anything else. There's a lot of people saying that they really want to ask you questions, and so that's great. It seems like you have a lot of fans in here, and I really want you to promote all your stuff. So I'm just gonna recapture everything. If you joined late, I am Aaron Knight. I'm the newest member of the MEC. That's the Music Entrepreneur Club. On Instagram, we are a community who like to educate people on the music business so that you don't get taken advantage of. This is Slim Wave, the Slim Wave. He is one of my favorite artists, producers, songwriters, and I'm sure on my way to being favorite human, I accidentally, divine appointment. We met yesterday, actually at H&M. We just
That's it.
randomly ran into each other. It was crazy.
For the
And
first time at
for
that.
the first time, we just know each other through the internet. And now I met him and now on here. So I'm sure we're going to be running into each other a lot more. But Slim produced on Summer Walker's project. He just produced a Christmas track for Shelly, who used to be known as Drum. And yeah, he's produced for a ton of other people. Diddy, you named a lot. I missed all of those, but this is who we're talking to. He is about to start answering questions. Y'all, he literally is a phenomenal musician, turned producer, turned artist, everything. So I heard about him because he's a part of a group called Band of Brothers with his brothers and cousins, right? Y'all are actually related, right?
Yeah,
Or
brothers.
no?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So his family has this crazy band. I can't wait till y'all start doing shows again because
Oh
I'm
my
there.
God. Yeah,
They're in.
Once Drake gets back, the bass player, he gets back.
Okay,
He went to New Zealand, but he'll get back next year, like April. We're gonna go crazy.
listen, let me know. I can't wait. He's an incredible artist, right? And so he's here today to talk about how he went from going to school to be a bass player to now producing for everybody, traveling the world. He works with Black. You're his MD, right? I keep saying
Yeah,
that. I don't know if you're.
musical
Yeah, okay.
director. Yeah.
He's Black's MD, which means he's the one responsible for Black's live sound. You know, like you said, a lot of y'all call him Six Lack. That means you're not from Atlanta. This man's name is Black.
Not from
But
Atlanta.
yeah. So, is there anything else that you want to share before we jump into these questions? People are already starting to share questions, but I want people to understand like it's not impossible to get where you are. It's not
Mhm.
that you just pulled up one day to somebody's studio and then you were
Not at
producing
all.
for Summer Walker. It was a journey for you.
Mhm. Yeah, I don't really have too much else I want to say about myself. I would love to hear what people, want to ask because I'm gonna be here. People tap in with me on my social media. All my social media is Slim Wave. On everything, whether if it's Twitch, whether if it's BeatStars, whether if it's IG, Twitter, it's all Slim Wave. SLIMWAV, just like you see it spelled.
Dope. All right. Make sure y'all go follow this man. I'm gonna jump into some of the questions. Um, let's see. If you have a question, you can just put Q and I'll read it because shout out to Bufo on the beat because that made it easier for me to find your question. Being so gifted with many different instruments has you. Thank you, Marcus. You are on this. Marcus is behind the scenes pulling up all these comments. Thank you, Marcus. Being so gifted with so many different instruments have you ever made compositions to sell as samples or as loops to get more placements? Does he have any for sale? Okay, Slim, I think this is your opportunity because Slim told me yesterday he has a BeatStars account and he never puts anything up. So go ahead, answer the question.
So, I have made loops, but I've never sold loops. You know what I mean? I've always just like if I have a couple of homies that I really rock with, because I have a homie named Forest Slash. He's a really dope producer. He produced a lot of records on Black's album as well, co-produced. But he just reached out to me. He was like, "Yo, man, like send me some loops," and I was like, "You know what? I'll start doing that. Like I'll start sending loops to like my really close friends or really good homies, because I still believe in like exclusivity. There's like on Splice, there's like some really amazing loops and stuff. And they just that is what it is. Like you have to just go find them. But I feel like me building and really catering to my immediate group of people, which is also important. Because I feel like a lot of producers like, yo, I'm just trying to produce for the top producer, and it doesn't work that way. It more so works like you network left to right opposed to like networking up. You know what I mean? Because when you network up, then your negotiations are gonna be trash. Like they're gonna be like, we're doing something for you. You know what I mean? Opposed to like if you get referred by homies that are already in the room, then it's like, all right, you gotta respect me because he brought me in the room and you respect him. So, but I haven't really done any
100%.
like loops for sale. I think I will in the future, but right now I still want to kind of keep it a little exclusive to kind of really, get my foot all the way in the door. I feel like my feet are in the door, but I'm still, making my way through rooms. But I feel like all of the creativity I have right now is really important. So I gotta, you know, lock it in and make sure.
So you heard it first. Slim is not giving y'all no beats,
No,
basically.
but they will be. They will be. I will put some. I think I have like maybe one or two beats on my BeatStars now. But I'll definitely like. Don't get me wrong. I am gonna do that for sure, and it may be as soon as next year. But I'm just saying like for today and for the rest of this year, I'm just gonna be like working on making them first.
Dope, dope. There was one question that was asked that you kind of hinted on, so I want to go back to it. It was from Kiko19. They said, "What is the best way to grow connection in your opinion?"
The best way to grow connection is to find people that are doing what you love to do and have a passion doing what you love to do, and figure out ways to connect with them. Whether if it's like liking or commenting on a few videos. Like, I read this book once that we are nature of like loving ourselves. Like we love ourselves. That is what it is. So a trick I used to use, which I don't have to use it anymore because I'm just meeting really good people. But a trick I used to use is like really finding people that I really rock with or I'm inspired by, letting them know that. You know what I mean? So for instance, there was this kid from the UK named George Barnett. You should go check him out. He's a really amazing creative, and I was really like binge watching all this stuff back in like 2010, and I was just watching stuff, and he didn't do anything for so long until today, maybe like a month ago. I was posting stuff, and I saw him post like, "Yo, you're back. Yo, it's really dope. Like, yo, you inspired me, man. You're really dope." And then he being that he didn't really have too many like followers at the time, which I still don't think he does. He reached back out, and I was like, "Yo, this is crazy." I'm talking to George Bryan. These are people that peers that I'm rocking with. So, every now and then, if there's somebody that you really rock with, give them their flowers. They appreciate that. We appreciate that. People that are in the industry of entertainment, people that are in the industry of, doing what we do, we really appreciate when you reach out to us or, like, yo, this inspired me to do this or this is, because that's real opposed to like we see it all the time, people just be hyping for no reason. But when you go into detail like, yo, I really like this song that you did, or yo, this post was really dope, it inspired me to do this, then they're like, yo, I appreciate your honesty, I appreciate that. And then from there on you just build. You don't always have to like overdo it and be weird, but you know
Facts.
and
Low
don't
key, I
all
feel like. Go ahead.
and don't always reach out to. I get a ton of people in my DMs like, yo, listen to this beat, and I'm like, I don't even know who you are. Like, you don't know anything I do. You're just
Right.
reaching out to me because you see I have people
A
following me.
placement.
Yeah, he's like, yo, listen to my beats, put me on. I'm like, I skip past those every time. But if it's somebody like, yo, I really rock with your music, or I took the time to listen to your music, man, you're dope. How could I become better? And I'm all like, maybe 100% of the times, if I see it, I'm gonna respond
Right.
or listen. You know what I mean?
Low key,
So
I feel like that's how I got this interview because I've been a stalker fan on the internet for 2 years, like loving
yeah.
all of your stuff. So
Mhm.
yeah, that's good. And I would add to that, just like, yeah, being a genuine fan of people and not expecting to get anything, but
Yeah.
also be a fan of the people around you.
Facts.
Not that this is about Bree, but like even Bree, you know what I'm saying? Like
Mhm.
me and her she was in college and I was a brand new manager, fresh out of school, didn't know anything. And like
Yes.
we built, and now it's like, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like with her situation, same with you. It's all of my friends who are killing it right now, working at Spotify, working at Tidal, working at Rock Nation, Def Jam, all those people were people that I came up with in the industry.
Yeah.
And like you said, if you're just trying to jump up to the next level and be like, well,
Not gonna work.
they don't need you, so they're not going to give you anything that you
They gonna
want.
spit you
Work
right. You
with
gonna
the
spit you
people
right back
around
out.
you. Yes, work with the people around you, find people on your level who are doing similar things, offer them value, and create an ecosystem with people there, and then y'all can build together. Okay, there are a lot of questions rolling in. Slim, people really like you. You're killing this. Um, okay, I don't want to miss. Okay, I joined kind of late. Wait, no. Let me get Measy first. Okay. As an up and coming artist, what is the biggest habit I can build early in my career?
The biggest habits you can learn early in your career is learning the ins and outs or enough about everything. And the reason why I say that is because it's very important. Because as a artist myself, one thing that we always think is like, I'm gonna just be good enough and people are gonna help me. I said it before. It's like, I'm such a dope artist and somebody's gonna find me and be like, yo, I want to sign you to my label. And it's like that. It doesn't work like that all the time. So learn the most you can learn about everything. It's gonna take a minute, but learn a little bit about video editing. Learn a little bit about recording yourself. Learn a little bit about, you know, whatever, because that one thing that you learn a little bit about could take you into where you need to be. Like if you learn a little bit about running Pro Tools for yourself, you just never know. You can be in a room one day and be like, yo, all right, engineer quit. We got this session with Future or somebody, and like we just need somebody. We don't have anybody to, and you're like, yo, I know how to record, and then you record and you lock it in, and then next thing you know, Future's like, yo, you're dope. I want you to record my sessions all the time when I'm in Atlanta. And then from there, you could just be in the room playing one of your records before they get in. It's like, yo, who is that? And they're like, yo, I need that record. You made that? Yo, I didn't know you were, you know what I mean? And it's just a snowball effect. So my biggest advice is learn a little bit about everything and keep your relationships clean, because you never know when you're going to need somebody, or you never know when somebody's going to need you.
And that sounds kind of like a random example, but that's literally, I don't know if you know Pierre Bourne.
Yeah.
That's how Pierre got on. Pierre was his friend worked at, I can't remember what studio, and he kept going up there to hang out with his friend.
Yeah.
And then like his friend was engineering there, and so he started learning how to engineer. Then they needed a new engineer, and Pierre got hired. So then you know how rappers do. The label
Mhm.
will book all the sessions. They'll
Yep.
come in high. They'll stay for 2 hours, and then they'll go to the strip club, right?
Yeah.
So the sessions are paid for. So Pierre started recording his own music. He started bringing in all the street
Now you
dudes.
got free studio sessions.
Yes, and he would sell the studio, like he would sublease the studio time. Anytime people, he'd be like, "Yeah, I work out of this studio," and they'd be like, "Let me know," because it's a label studio. I can't remember whose studio it was, but it's kind of expensive. So he would sublease the hours for like $25 an hour, right? And then long story short, he started having Cardi come up, the Playboy Cardi come up there.
Mhm.
He made Magnolia in the back of the car, headed to a session with Cardi, and literally from there blew up. But because Pierre was on it, I knew Pierre because Pierre knew I threw shows and events at A3C, and he used
Yeah.
to blow me up on Twitter, like, "Yo, let me get on his show. Yo, let me get on his show." And then he started making waves in the city. He stayed in contact. I put him on some shows. You know what I'm saying? So
Mhm.
it sounds random, but Pierre moved from Atlanta to South Carolina, and within a year had a number 1 hit
That's
because
great.
he was like moving, just like you
Yeah.
said, like, "Oh, you're an engineer and you make $15 an hour," and he's like, "I'm broke. Okay, I'm gonna learn how to engineer," and then became top engineer. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? And he was a producer, but he learned how to engineer. So I love that example. I'm not gonna rant about Pierre. Shout out to Pierre because that man works harder than most people know.
Mhm.
Um, all right, more questions. Okay, so you have your biggest fan is on her here. I think her name is Alicia. She said
Oh,
I
Alexa,
joined.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, she said she's your biggest fan multiple times. She's shown a lot of love over here, so shout out to you. She
Thank
said
you,
I
Alexa.
joined this live kind of late, so I don't know how much you touched on it, but how much has consistency played a role in your success thus far?
Okay, so I became a producer, and it's really weird. I got in the producer world by posting content. So I would post these content videos and stuff, and the one that took off, like, hear me out. I've been working with this label called LVRN for years, since maybe like 2013. I would play a couple of them beats every now and then, but they were just like, yeah, that was cool. That was it. You know what I mean? It wasn't nothing behind it. So years later, I would just, be working, working and working on beats, but I would be posting content of like other talents that I had. Until it got one of the videos got reposted by Drake. And when it got reposted by Drake, that's when everybody was like, "Oh, yeah, let's look at Slim now. Wait, let's look at," you know what I mean? But it was really cool because they knew I did it all along. So it was like, "Yo, let's go ahead and let's figure out how to make this work, how we can help you." And I was like, "Yeah, dope." So my first situation was like producing, not my first situation, but my first like in the game situation, because I had produced for like homies and stuff before. But my first situation where everybody was like, "Yo, who is this guy?" was I produced a whole Christmas, an entire Christmas project last year after the Drake thing happened. And that kind of just got me in the door. They was just like, after the whole hype of the Drake thing, it was like, "Yo, man, we want to try something. We don't really do Christmas projects, but we just want to see what you can do." And I was like, "All right, dope. Who else is producing it with me?" I'm like, "I know this is a co-production situation because I haven't heard my beats in a while, so y'all don't even know they could suck." But they knew I was really good in the live world, so they was expecting like that. And I was like, this is my opportunity to show them that I'm actually a producer. You know what I mean? So
Wow.
I just took that, and it was like, "Yo, this project is due like in a week," and I was like, "What?" So I did the whole project in like 4 days. You know what I mean? And they was like, "Yo, this is actually pretty fire. This is crazy." Like, and then from there it was like a snowball effect. So being
So all those
consistent is
years,
important
yeah, all those years of work and excellence amounted to that. Like you said, you've been making content nonstop. Nobody's really paying attention to it. So you were
at all.
flipping the game.
Mm-hmm.
You were already producing with these people, but not, or already working with them, but not getting a ton of like looks
Yeah.
for anything.
Mm-hmm.
And then suddenly it's like LVRN is like, hey, we have the most eyes in the world. That's right after Throat Baby came out. So like they like everybody is watching LVRN right now.
Yep.
And they say, here's the ball. We need you to finish this brand new project for us in a week. And you delivered, and now
Mm-hmm.
you're here.
Yep.
That's incredible. I love that. Let
It's a
that
gift
be a
and a curse, though.
testament to people to be ready when the opportunity comes.
Yep. Hurry up and wait.
Facts. Sheesh. I posted a video the other day that said, go at your own pace, but don't take too long. So
Absolutely.
I'm right there with you. Okay, next question. I'm gonna shorten this a little bit because we have probably, if you're cool, about 5 more minutes, Slim.
Mm.
Somebody says, how do you work? Basically, how do you overcome working with a hard artist in the studio without going crazy, but you want to finish the song?
Still continue to have integrity. Still continue to treat them like nice people, because you never know.
Right.
You just never know. They could be testing you, or that could just be like a situation where you don't have to work with them again. But what they can't do is be like, "Yo, I don't like working with this person. That person's trash." You know what I mean? Or they can be like, "Yo, he was a nice person, so let's not." You know what I mean? And they may refer you to something else because that situation may not be the situation for you. But you just gotta have patience. Honestly, it's patience in this game. It's like you gotta love what you do. Because I've worked with a bunch of nasty people, and me being like super nice is like, "Yo, I'm cool. Like you ain't gotta, you don't gotta do all that." They're like, "Yo, I respect that."
Yep. Yep. A lot of times people are rude and expect you to give it back to them,
Yeah,
but then when you don't,
that's a
they're
lot of
kind
energy.
of stuck
Yeah.
because they don't know how to continue the continuum. So yeah.
Hmm.
Um, did you ever have to do beats for free in order to progress? And is getting paid out the gate for everything the way it works?
Absolutely. When I said a few minutes ago, this industry is more based off of your relationships than it is anything else. So like if you're doing it for the money, you're doing it for the wrong reasons. Obviously, we have to get paid. We got to do things to get paid. That's why I tried to figure out ways that I can get paid and still do it, which was like the musician world. Like I know I can do gigs, so that'll pay my bills while I'm still trying to get in the industry. So I did a slew of beats. I have this playlist on my Spotify that is like it incorporates all of the records that I produced in the past, which I'll probably put up on my Instagram soon. But I'd say like maybe 80% of those beats I didn't get paid for. You know what I mean? And it's a lot
Wow.
of stuff on there. It's probably like 60 to 64 records on there that maybe 50 of them I didn't get paid for. You know what I mean? But the turnout of that is like I built the relationships with all 64 of those people.
Wow.
You know what I mean? So now I can do a lot of things. Like 64 of those people, I may be in a city one day, like, yo, can I get in the show? And like, yo, of course, bro. Like, we cool, we homies. So it's like, yo, I want to introduce you to BTS because they're actually the one I'm getting in the show to. I'm gonna introduce BTS and like, yo, that's dope. All from a free beat. You know what I mean? So money isn't always the thing. And if you do start off on that vibe, then that's all it's gonna be. You're not gonna have any relationships. People are just gonna treat you like a machine. So
And they may not get a beat from you right away because they'll be like, my homeboy will do it for free.
exactly. So you just got to have discernment on what relationships to build on, what relationships to charge, because that's also a thing too. Because I've charged in the past too for people that was like, you know what, I'm gonna charge because this is my time, and you're coming to me for your services. So
Yep, completely agree. Okay, okay, musically, I think that's how you pronounce this. Did you have a moment that that
when
sorry.
you do me.
Facts. Did you have a moment? I think this is asking, did you have a moment where where something clicked and then everything changed for you?
I don't know. It's always clicking. It's always changing. But if I had a moment, it would be the Drake thing. Like, because like I told you, I felt so like I felt like nobody was watching, like nobody was looking for me. But I was like, I'm gonna just keep posting. And once Drake like reposted it, it was kind of like, wait a minute. So, and then all of my friends and homies like, yo, we always knew you. I was like, it was a moment of confirmation. It was like, okay, you've been doing the right thing. They just haven't been supporting out loud. You know what I mean? Because they always say like nobody supports you until everybody supports you. But it is what it is. You can take it personal, or you can just take it and be like, you know what, I'm here now. It doesn't matter. You know what I mean? And I think most people take it personal most of the time. So I think
Yeah.
that was my moment where it clicked. Because after that, I started to get so many cool looks, and it was like, oh, okay, so I haven't been doing this for nothing.
Yeah, shout out to that. That's amazing. Like the Bible says, a prophet isn't welcome in their own town. I
Yeah,
feel like the music industry is your hometown.
yeah,
And
facts.
I've seen the same thing. So many people who I rocked with didn't necessarily rock with me until I started like posting my wins. Cause
Mm-hmm.
I'm such a like, oh yeah, I'm just
Private
gonna do
person,
this
yeah.
thing. And then you start talking about your wins, and then other people start saying stuff about you. And then you're in a major room with major players, and people start talking. And then
Mm-hmm.
everybody's like, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I've been rocking with E all this time. She's so dope. It's
Mm-hmm.
like, yo, really?
Yeah,
Cause I have unread text from you. But
facts.
okay. But yeah, I agree. You have to make people, I think something one of my favorite creators on YouTube said, his name is Belief. He's also a rapper, but he said if you have a chip on your shoulder, then you're not hungry enough. So
Mm-hmm.
if you're upset that people aren't rocking with you, you're not moving in the proper direction. You're
Yeah.
focused on people not rocking with you. Make them rock with you. Like get
Mm-hmm.
that chip off your shoulder, go ahead, eat it, and keep it moving.
Facts.
So I think we have one more question, and then I'm gonna let you get back to creating the magic. Um, okay. Opportunities. Okay. Tips on staying creative and productive every day.
Don't.
Facts.
Don't like give yourself time. You know what I mean? Um, just as you have time to be creative, you have to have time to feed yourself. Because like a poet, like he was a mentor of mine when I moved to Atlanta. His name is Abyss Graham. I told him I was like, yo, man, I just don't feel like I'm creating right now. Like I feel like I've reached a ceiling, or I've reached like creator's block or producer's block or writer's block, whatever you want to call it. And he was like, you know why? I was like, why? He was like, because you're not feeding your creativity. I was like, if you keep pulling from something for so long, you're gonna run out. You know what I mean? So I didn't understand what that meant at first until like he explained it to me deeper. He was like, when your body is tired, it needs sleep. So you give it sleep. You don't still keep, moving while you're sleeping. You know what I mean? It doesn't work that way. So it's like a give or take. If you're not feeling creative, if you're not, if you're having a block, then that means you're not feeding yourself what you need to feed yourself. So that's the tip. Like, don't always try to create. Don't always try to, there's ways you can still be creative and stuff, and try to do the beat a day thing. And I tried that, but it didn't work out for me because it everything just starts to sound the same, opposed to having 10 records that sound the same, opposed to having one really good record that changes your life, is more important to me. Quality over quantity. Yes, you can do a lot of beats. However, you know, take a little bit time on one more beat than you would regularly, and or one more song, or one more painting, or one more form of creativity. Um, and just take the necessary breaks. Like that whole sleep when I die, like that's wild to me. Um, because billionaires get rest. Trust me, they do. You know what I mean? So
And lots of vacations,
yeah, don't
great
overexert
dinners.
yourself. Yeah, don't overexert yourself. Like take your time. Like take your time to create as much as you can. Like get in your bag, whatever bag that is. Lately I've been in like a vintage bag. That's why I have all these records up on the wall. But I've been in that bag really heavy. But I've also taken a break recently. Like it just like, you know what? Let me focus on other things in life, other creative avenues of life, like videography or content. And when I'm doing content, I'm not making as many beats. You know what I mean? But I could be, but that would be overkilling it. So I would say the best advice I can give for that is follow your wave. If your wave is making beats right now, follow that wave until it crashes into something else. And once it crashes into something else, you can still be inspired by that, but follow that wave. You know what I mean? And make it all come together.
Slim, I love it. Very grateful for you. I just have to show you this one thing before we get off. This is my Spotify top songs. Two Sides was in my
Oh
top
shoot! Thank you.
two
I
sides.
appreciate
I'm a
that.
real fan, Slim.
I appreciate that.
Y'all
Yeah,
need to go listen to this man's music. Y'all can search him, Slim Wave. His Instagram is that, his Twitter is that, on Spotify, Apple Music, Title, all the things. Go look for his own music, but also check out his page. He's very funny, y'all. Like very funny. Y'all should check out all the skits that he does. Just see how talented he is. Be impressed because I know y'all just heard this very humble, gentle man. When y'all go see how much of a beast he is, you're gonna be
oh my
shook.
god.
Like, how is this dude so laid back? Slim, thank you so much for being on today.
Sure. I appreciate
Go
you
ahead
having me.
and plug. What'd you say?
I say I appreciate you having me. Thanks.
For sure. Go ahead and plug anything that you want to plug. Let people know. I just told them where to find you, but if you have any music dropping, anything that you want them to know, anything that you want them to take into the new year, go ahead and drop it.
So yeah, I am Slim Wave actually on all platforms. She said that part. There's a song coming out with an artist by the name of Shelly, FKA Drum. That is coming out. It should be coming out today, I think. It's one of the records I'm most proud about. It's a Christmas record, so it's pretty wild. But that isn't the only Christmas record that's coming out for the rest of the year. I have another Christmas record that's coming out. I don't know when it's coming out. They didn't announce, but it's also gonna be a little fire record. You know what I mean? Top of the year, I'm going to release a deluxe version of my Brown EP
Okay, dope.
with friends though. So I'm excited about that, and some more music I'm releasing and stuff. So yeah, man, I would say just keep up with me on social media because I post everything there.
Very dope. Thank you once again, Slim. If you guys are new to the MEC and you want to be alerted every time that we go live, which is every Monday and Thursday, you can text 844-206-7800. I host every first Monday of the month. Hopefully, maybe in the new year, I'll be hosting a few more times, but lots of dope people. We're going to get Bree on here. Bree, I'm just putting you on notice. I'm going to invite you on here. People are going to be
Hey,
blowing up your spot, but they have to hear from you. You're also a legend in the making. But
facts.
please feel free to follow Slim, at Slim Wave. Check out his music. Follow me at The Aaron Effect. I'm constantly dropping music industry tips and tricks, but also just encouragement to be bright and beautiful humans. And also follow the MEC. It's at Music Entrepreneur Club. I'm looking forward to seeing you guys next week. Thank you guys so much. Thank you, Slim. We'll talk soon.
For sure. Thanks, guys.
Bye, y'all.